However, you testified that you made arrangements to return home. Can you describe, let's take you to at the point you left the Australia house to go to the airport and were accompanied by Ben King. Could you tell the jury what transpired during that period of time?
So I left Australia shortly after that. My understanding was Johnny was in the hospital for his finger, and Ben King was going to accompany me, and on the way to the airport, Johnny calls me, and we were just crying on the phone. He was crying. He asked if it was, if he had killed it, meaning the relationship, it was, I don't remember the exact words that he used, but it was kind of asking me in that way, is it done? Is this over? Did we kill it? Did I kill it? That sort of thing. I don't remember what I was saying to him, but we hung up as I went into the airport. I had a mix of feelings. Nothing really was making perfect sense to me, for sure. And I flew back with Ben. I don't really remember speaking to Ben on the flight.
Do you, when Mr. Depp was, what you testified on what Mr. Depp said to you on the phone ride, were you on the phone with anyone else, or was it just Mr. Depp you were on the phone with?
I only remember speaking to Johnny, and I remember sitting in the backseat of the SUV that had driven me, and we were outside of the entrance where you walk into the airport, and I even then felt torn about leaving. I obviously didn't want to stay, but I was in such shock and
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
I don't know how that's non-responsive.
We're going to ask your question again.
Okay. Please tell us how you felt at that point and what Mr. Depp was saying to you.
I remember.
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
She was in the middle of responding to it, Your Honor, and Your Honor said
it was a different question, but I'll sustain that objection if you want to ask a question.
Okay. How did you feel at that time?
I felt destroyed. Like my heart was broken. I didn't know what to do. I thought maybe if I left him in Australia, I thought maybe something would happen to him. I thought he might die or kill himself, because that certainly seems like the trajectory he was on. He told me he had put a cigarette out on his face before, the Friday before, and combined with all the, when I was in the bedroom and he was in the hospital, I found, and I was packing my bags and stuff, I found all these empty bags, Coke bags, dime bags with white residue on them. In them. They were in books, in the bedside table. There were so many that I was like, I wondered how I didn't see it before, even though I had, just gotten there. So I was worried he would die, and I was worried that we couldn't come back from what happened. I was worried that there was just no way to turn this around. There was no going back, but shock. Shock.
So you flew out of that airport. Did you have a stop anywhere before you went back to LA?
Objection, relevance.
In a minute, I'll show
Overruled.
it.
Yes, we did. We stopped in an airport. I think it was, we stopped at the Sydney airport from Brisbane, I believe.
And did you have to change gates there?
Yes, we had a short flight to get to Sydney, and then in Sydney, I walked with Ben through the airport to get the next plane, and we passed a newsstand, and I just remember I passed this newsstand, and there was a book on one of the book stands outside of the store, and it had this puzzle piece on it, and Johnny and I used to use that as a term of endearment, puzzle piece, and I saw this puzzle piece on the cover of the book. It got my attention. It said 4 ways to click, a relationship guide. So I bought it, and
Who was the author?
Dr. Amy Banks.
Okay. Go ahead, please continue.
So the book, at least from the subtitle, said it was a book on solving relationship problems. So I bought it, and I read it on the way home.
And why did you buy it and read it on the way home?
Because I loved this man. I loved this man so much. And it was so toxic. And for some reason, I couldn't get him to not hurt me. I couldn't. And it seemed like I was hurting him. But we loved each other so much. At least I loved him so much. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with this relationship. It was awful and toxic, but it was so important to me, and I loved him so much. I would have read 1,000,000 books.
So when you got back to LA, how long before Mr. Depp came back?
A few days. Johnny came back within a few days. He went to his Sweetser house, the main house, which was what we did. If there was a problem between Johnny and I, we weren't under the same roof once, the fight had either paused or ended, depending, but he would go to Sweetser, and I would stay at the ECB. And so he went to Sweetser upon landing, and there was some conversations with the medical team, doctors and stuff, and I just remember feeling concerned for his life because things had changed, and without saying what they said to me,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
She said without saying.
She's characterizing it.
Well, I'll overrule for now. We'll see where we go.
I became really, really worried that Johnny was not going to live through this, that there would be infections or problems and things, and he wouldn't stop using Coke, and he couldn't get the surgery he needed because he wouldn't stop using Coke, and they wouldn't put him under because of all the Cokes.